Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be talking about pencils. As you can see, I've got 4 tins of pencils here. Now you know that my favourites are Derwents. I've been using them for years, but it really doesn't matter which pencils you use, they're all pretty much the same quality. The tones are all very similar. There might be a very few slight variations in tones with some manufacturers, but hardly anything at all. There is one exception, and that's the Staedtler pencils. Now these I'll come to in a little while and talk about these, but before I do, I just have to show you this. If you're an experienced artist, you might want to skip through this bit because you know all about this. Now this is the tone chart for graphite pencils. It starts at the lightest, which is 9H. It goes all the way along, gradually getting darker to 9B. Now if you're wondering what all that means, it's very simple. H stands for hard and B stands for black, and then in the middle there we've got HB, which is the medium tone. That means hard black, and then we've got F, which is the pencil, which everybody gets confused about, but it basically just means first. But don't worry about it, don't confuse yourself about it. I kind of forget about that when I miss that one out. The important one is the HB. That's your standard office pencil, school pencil. I think in America you call them number 2 pencils, I think, but it's an HB pencil, all the same thing. And how it works is the lightest pencils are very hard because they've got more clay mixed in with the graphite, which makes the lead very hard and quite scratchy and very difficult to scrub. Very difficult to smudge. Right at the other end of the scale, 9B, that's very soft graphite with hardly any clay at all. It's very smudgy, you can blend it very easily, but there are drawbacks with this. I don't know if you can see the shine on them. Not so much so on the lighter ones, but as soon as you start getting into the darker tones you get this shine. Now a lot of people don't like that. Personally I'm not too bothered. But one of the things I've found with the Staedtler pencils is in the darker tones, this set contains an HB, a 2B, a 4B, 6B, 7B and an 8B. Now if I take out the 7B and the 8B, oops, just fell on the floor, excuse me. If I take out the 7B and the 8B, the pencils that are left there are all pretty much the same. They're all, you know, graphite mixed with clay in various degrees, as I've just explained there. There's Koh-i-Noor, Derwents, Faber-Castell and Staedtler, but with the exception of these 2 pencils. Now if I just move these out of the way, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so back to the tone chart. Now 9B being the darkest tone that we can achieve with all those other pencils which I just showed you. Now if I go with the 8B right next to, sorry, yes it is an 8B, right next to the 9B, these are all Derwent by the way, I should have said that at the start, these are all Derwent, but if I go right next to the 9B with the Staedtler 8B, well, the first thing you notice that I can see in the viewfinder of the camera is there's no shine on that at all, and that's one of the bonuses with it. And it's the same, sorry I'm not the camera then, it's the same with the 7B. Absolutely no shine on that at all, and they're black, dark black. If I lift this up so you can get rid of the shine and you can see the tones better, it's quite hard to pick up on the camera, but believe me, from where I'm sitting here, that is absolutely jet black, and that is lighter. And the 7B, there's not much difference between the 7B and the 8B in the Staedtler pencils. So these are absolutely fantastic. I include these now in my drawing set with my Derwent pencils, and I do use the other Staedtler pencils as well, as you can see. So the two sets of pencils that I would personally recommend, but you don't have to go with my recommendation, but I use Derwent pencils and Staedtler Mars Lumograph pencils. You don't have to buy the tin, you can just buy them individually, but they're well worth considering as part of your kit, definitely. Okay, now then, let's move these to one side. So that's wood case pencils and tones covered. Now you've seen these in a previous video, these woodless pencils or graphite sticks. Now it can get a bit confusing, I'll just bring these in because these are also called graphite sticks. I've heard them called blocks, but you can get blocks which really are, you know, big thick blocks of graphite, but these are sold as graphite sticks and we'll call these woodless pencils. These graphite sticks, they're great for doing, you know, large areas, and they're also good for scraping with a blade, craft knife or something like that, to get graphite powder, the same as you've seen me demonstrate these for. The only difference being is these are round, they have a coating on the outside to stop you from getting graphite all over your fingers, and you can use them like a normal pencil. You can sharpen them to quite a fine point and use them the same. So I won't go on about these too much because I spoke about them in a previous video. So that's that. Okay. Now the other pencils that I use are clutch pencils, mechanical pencils, etc. Now these, they're not necessary at all, but they are nice to use because you don't have to sharpen them quite so often as you do the wood case pencils. But you do need to sharpen these if you want a nice fine point, but if you don't want a nice fine point, you can just let them go like that. I don't know if you can see that. If I hold one up with a sharp point and one with a rounded point, yeah, there you go. That one is fine to draw with on its own like that, and you can just keep clicking the end and getting more lead out and just keep drawing and drawing and drawing. But if you want a really, really precise fine tip, you will actually need to sharpen them. So how we do that, in the end of these there's a little sharpener in there. You can see that those little metal spikes on there are quite sharp, and what you need to do is put the, I can't see, I've got the camera in front of my face, oh dear, there we go, that's it. Put those over there and give that a little twist like that, and that'll sharpen that to a nice fine tip. So that's that. That's a 2mm lead, by the way, so is that one, and there's some more here. That's another 2mm lead. Now I have them in varying degrees and different sort of colours and everything, so that I know which one's which. So that's an HB, that's a 4B, and that's a 2B. And you can buy the refills for them. (4B, HB and 2B). And they'll last you a lifetime. These three pencils here, they're made by a company called Kohinoor, and they've been around for ages. I think it was sometime in the 1800s that they actually started making pencils. They do a massive range of drawing supplies, from watercolour pencils, graphite sticks, everything you can possibly imagine for drawing, they just about do it. So it's worth checking those out if you're interested in that sort of thing. Okay, so they're 2mm leads. We'll move on to the finer ones, which are 0.5mm leads. And if I just do a comparison for you here. I don't think the camera's going to focus. Well, you can roughly see that that's very fine compared to the thickness of that one. So these are good for obvious reasons, for, you know, fine detail, fine lines and things like that. Now there is a slight difference with the lead in this particular brand. This is a Pentel P205. It's a classic pencil, been around for years, really good. Now the leads that you get for these, you can get different leads, but I bought the HB leads. Now these are, I think, the high polymer or high carbon or something leads. And although they say HB, they're very, very dark. If I just draw next to the HB, the Derwent's HB pencil there, you can see, or you will be able to see when I hold this up, that it's actually a lot darker than an HB. Put it around that way. It's more like, looking at that there, it's more like a 3B or a 4B even. So bear that in mind if you buy one of these. But this is actually my favourite pencil. Perfect for doing fine detail, so I do recommend those as well. The other two that I use, that one's made by Koh-i-Noor, 0.5mm cushion grip and an eraser in the end. It's nice to use, but I prefer the Pentel. And this one is Faber-Castell, and it's not so good, unfortunately. They came up with a design idea for this, my camera's not focusing, there we go, for that tip on the end there to push back inside the main part of the pencil so it doesn't make holes in your pocket or anything like that. So if I can actually push that in, look, and it's gone. And then when I want the lead to come out, that automatically comes out. And you might be thinking, wow, that's a great idea. But let me just explain that because of that, that tip actually moves and wobbles when you're drawing with it, and I find it completely useless, so I've given up using that. Now this is another 2mm pencil. It's made by Staedtler, and as you know I like the Staedtler brand, and I also like this pencil, but there is a problem with it. It's very comfortable, very nice to use, they're a good price, they're an industry standard for draftsmen and technical drawing people and things like that. But the problem that I've found with it is, if I can show you that, look, it bends quite badly as well. Now I find that when I'm holding the pencil at this end, which I often do when I'm shading, if I put too much pressure on that, it bends, it flexes, and it's very annoying, which is a shame because it's a really comfortable pencil. So bear that in mind if you buy one of those. If you find that flexing business annoying, I wouldn't bother with it, but it is a very nice, comfortable pencil. And finally, we have another Koh-i-Noor clutch pencil. Now this one's got a 5.6mm lead in there. You just press that and it slides out. And you can change these for, you know, various leads. You can even get coloured ones like that for all different types of drawing. You can get charcoal and everything to fit these. It's a hard plastic case which is triangular, which is very comfortable to hold actually, and it's perfect for really broad strokes as well as fine lines, and for filling in large areas quickly. It's absolutely perfect. Right, okay, I'm getting carried away now. I'm going to end up doing a landscape drawing if I'm not careful. That's the trouble. Once I start, I can't stop. Right, that's that. Okay, so that's another one that I do recommend. But it's like I say, none of these are necessary really. You can just get away with using wood case pencils and maybe you know, a graphite stick or a graphite block. But these are nice to. Sorry about that, the camera just cut out yet again. As I was saying, these are nice to have, something different to use, but again, not necessary. Now, the last thing I want to show you here, I've just recently bought these. These are called Derwent Graphite pencils. They're water soluble, and the idea with these is it's mainly graphite. If I just open this up, they're basically a graphite pencil with pigment mixed into them. So as you can see by the colour chart that I've made here, they're quite subdued. Basically what I've done, I just scribbled a bit of the pencil on there, and then I added a little bit of water and just pulled the colour out, just so that you got the idea of what they look like when you use them as a watercolour pencil. Now, they're fantastic for landscapes. I've not used them much. I've had a little practice with them, and I regret buying the set of 12 now. I wish I'd have gone for the 24 set. So what I've decided to do is buy a set of 24 of these, because I really like them and I can see me using them a lot. And what I'm going to do, for one of my subscribers, I'm going to give this away in a prize draw. So if you're interested and you want to win a barely used set of Graphite ink pencils, all you have to do is you have to be a subscriber, and when you leave a comment on this video, if you put at the end of your comment in brackets, "I want the pencils," I'll know that you want them. Or if you just want to leave a comment and you don't want the pencils, well, you know, I'll know not to send them to you. But what I'm going to do is write down the names of everybody that leaves a comment and puts "I like the pencils" or "I want the pencils," whatever. And I shall make a video of it. I shall put all the names into a hat and draw a winner out on the video, so you can see that there's no cheating or anything like that going on. And somebody will win a set of these. I'm not bothered where in the world you are. I'll post international, it doesn't bother me at all. So if you're interested in winning a set of these, you know what you've got to do. Now, I'll leave it for maybe 7 to 10 days for the comments to build up and everything, and then after that I shall make the video. So there you go. Good luck. Right, this is going to be like a two-part video, because the first part has all been about pencils and graphite. The second part is going to be about the tools and materials that I use for graphite drawing, which will be a separate video after this. So thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful to you. If you've got any questions, please ask. I will try my best to answer them. Even if you're a beginner and you've got a question that you feel embarrassed to answer, doesn't matter, I'm happy to help. Just ask your questions and I'll do my best. So thanks for viewing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.